Hello everybody, this is Sidekick, and here's a video of Escape Elite, last boss. After the tutorial video that I made for the balanced water loadout and the solo healing water loadout, I wanted to give you guys a sample of how that would be used in a raid. Here we have two healers in the last boss fight, and we have three players in this raid that one player that I know, and two of his friends. So basically, it's like I have three league mates, sort of, in this raid. The rest of them are basically pugs, and let's see how this goes. Now, like I said, the other healer's water. He's also using Solace of the Seas.
You've terrorized this world for too long. I'm here to put an end to you and the crime
So, what happens here is one of the DPSs immediately lunges the boss and dies, so he wastes one of his two lives. And a couple of minutes into the fight, he dies again, so he gets knocked out permanently. So we're down one DPS at that point. So basically the whole fight, we only had two DPSs. There he goes. Two DPSs, which is Fair and Convinced. Fair's munitions, I think, and Convinced's gadgets, and together they ended up with 20 million DPS each. So, since I knew there was another healer, I started with my balanced loadout, and I chose my hybrid balanced loadout so I can get the extra resto, and I also have the artifact that gives you power back. So all the blue numbers you'll see come from the artifact comes from when I break out of something, encasement or a knockback, because of the skill points that you can put into those skills that give you power back when you break out. You'll also see blue numbers that come from just the regular hybrid focus mechanic or whatever it is that gives you, power back from that. And you'll see the POT, and you'll see the Trolls power recharge. So that's why sometimes you'll see a lot of blue numbers. I only use hybrid when there's another healer, and in situations where I think that I can get away with it. It gives you so much extra resto. It's kind of fun to use, and sometimes it's hardly noticeable. The reduced power regeneration is hardly noticeable. At about the 4.5 to 5 minute mark, the other healer goes down for a second time, I believe, and I end up having to solo heal the rest of the fight, which is about 12 minutes or so. At that point, the three bosses are still up. One of them has full health, one of them has 2/3 health, and the other has about half health. It gets a little bit hectic at times, but like I said, it wasn't a league run, so I was just happy to be able to complete it at all. I think the healer's still in at this point. The other healer, Icy Healer. He was doing a good job before he went down. Yeah, so he's about to go down soon. Oh, there he goes. And from this point on, it's basically a solo heal.
Atomica has the situation under control, young. Now to finish the job I started.
Sorry to crash your party, guys, but apparently my date only likes slow.
The troll's doing an awesome job. His shields are coming very often. Tanks are actually doing really well too. The troll is one of those 3 guys that I said that I knew to be good, but I didn't know the tanks or the rest of the guys, except for the 2 DPSs, Convinced and Fairmere. I usually, when I use the balanced loadout, I usually double up on the 8-man shield and only use 1 whirlpool. But sometimes when I'm with another water healer, it's too tempting to have 4 Solace of the Seas up at the same time. So I sometimes use the double Solace of the Seas along with the other healer. Because it's so nice to have 4 of those HOTs going at the same time. Now here we're getting into some trouble. See, that's the only thing about oh, almost died there. That's the only thing about the balanced loadout, is that it's not as good on the burst heals because there's only 2 of them. See, I almost died there again. I'm spending a lot of time blocking in this one. I usually spend almost the whole raid blocking in between heals. I don't even damage the boss. I just figured that in this one, it's more important, especially now since I'm the only healer, it's more important for me to stay alive than to do like 200,000 or 300,000 damage at the end by the end of the raid. That's not really going to make much of a difference, so that's why I usually block, heal, throw shield, and then just hold block. See right there, I've been trying to change my loadout to my solo healing loadout, but I couldn't for a while, and I was just able to at that point. So now I'm using my solo healing loadout, so my burst heals will be a lot stronger. Because even with these shields on everyone, sometimes a hit will take down the 35k shield and half of a person's health or even more. So that's why I feel more comfortable with the extra burst heals. And I'm no longer using hybrid. I changed to a super powered loadout once the other healer went down, and I was expecting to have to, you know, clip a lot of hit burst heals, which can use a bit of power. If you still see blue numbers, that's coming from the artifact, the Demon's Fang, I think it's called.
You think you're gonna stop us? You're not too swift, huh?
So keep an eye on some of the health bars. When you'll see sometimes someone will be very close to death, and if I have all 3 burst heals available, you'll see that their health bar goes from 10% to 100%. Unfortunately, in that situation there, the tank went down and then I got hit. Now right here, the other healer was getting hurt I think he was standing, but he was already dead. He was outside the room. I think he was standing by the door and getting damaged by AoEs, and it was throwing me off because
Oh man, first.
I use my peripheral vision a lot of times to keep an eye on the bars. Sometimes I look directly at the bars, but sometimes I just catch it out of the corner of my eye, and his health going down was throwing me off because I thought it was a regular, a guy who was in the group, in the room, getting hurt. So I was throwing heals, and he wasn't getting anything.
You think you're gonna stop us? I'm not too swift.
Using the absorption weapon tactical mod is pretty nice because with all these shields of your water, that tactical mod, the shield from that tactical mod stacks with all your shields, so it's pretty nice. Sometimes when all your shields are down, that shield can save your life. If I'm running hybrid though, I'll use the replenishing mod to get the extra power back most of the time. Lately I've been using the absorption for the hybrid builds too.
Let's play a little game. It's called Road Rash.
One thing that's worth mentioning with this loadout is even though you clip a lot of burst heals and for short periods of time you could use a lot of power, once you get everybody's health up, you can just throw shields, and a lot of the times you don't have to throw a heal again for a while, so it makes it easier to regenerate power. When you're using the balanced loadout, you have to constantly throw those Solid Silver Sea Whirlpool, AoE, HOTs, and you know, sometimes that can be a little more of a drain on your power. But not usually. So like right here, my power is completely full and I only need it when I need to heal someone. And otherwise I could just block. A lot of times you'll see that I'm just blocking just for the hell of it, and someone will come along and hit me, and it doesn't do much because I'm already blocking even though I didn't see that hit coming. I think the tanks are Ice and Rage, and right there one of the tanks went down, and
Okay, just don't.
at this point I think we have no tanks, which was kind of nerve-wracking there, so I had to, but Ultraman only has a sliver of life, so I had to make sure that we didn't die. But Ultraman's not too hard as long as you block. Well, there you go. Thank you for watching.